Betamax. My name's Fidel, and I'm joined, as always, by Birdie. What's up, Birdie?
What's up, dude?
And tonight we have a special episode. We're going to be talking about power violence, and we have two special guests with us. How about our first guest introduce himself?
My name is Ryan, and I'm a friend of the podcast.
And
I'm Jose. I used to play guitar for Antichrist Demon Corps.
tight. So, so we're going to be talking about power violence, like how we got into it, how it affected our lives, and I guess what we feel about the current state of it. That's how I want to end it. So, Birdie, how did you get into power violence?
It was in 8th grade. I was going to middle school in Fontana. And I remember at the time I was listening to bands like Metallica and like Slipknot, Nirvana. And I thought, man, this is like the heaviest shit I ever heard. It can't be any cooler than this.
Yeah.
And then I saw a friend of mine. His name is Simon. He was he came up to me one day. He was like, hey, can you come with me? I'm gonna go pick up a CD from my homie. And then we went with him. I went with him. And he went to go pick up the CD early in the morning. He carried it with him all day. By the end of the day, I was like, what the fuck is that in your hand, dude? Like, it looks weird. It's like just black and white with like a dude has a gun on his hand. Like, what the fuck is that? Because I was used to seeing the covers that you do like on Metallica or Slipknot, like it's major label shit, you know.
Yeah.
It's all like artsy and shit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't used to that. I was like, what the fuck is this?
What was it?
And then he was like, dude, you should borrow it. Like, you don't know what it is? And I was like, no. He's like, dude, here, take it. Don't give it back to me until you've heard it like 5 times in a row. I was like, all right. And it was a Charles Bronson discography CD.
Yeah?
Yeah. And I remember my sister picked me up. And I was like, hey, can you put this in your CD player while we're driving home? And after that, I was hooked.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just hooked you right in?
Yeah, dude. Like, after that, it opened the floodgates, dude.
Game over.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
For me, it began in a way that I imagine a lot of people got into the genre. It was actually through skateboarding, of growing up skateboarding, and you would be at a spot, you'd see a guy wearing a particular shirt, or you'd watch a video and you'd see him wear a shirt, and it wouldn't just be, for me, it was like, you could tell from the distance what it is. It'd be a Ramones shirt, a Black Flag shirt, a Descendant shirt, and you get curious, you look it up yourself. And so my progression into it was, starting off with the Ramones, the Clash, kind of easier going punk, and then you move on to maybe hardcore punk, where you find yourself listening to Black Flag, Bad Brains, Void, all these bands, and then you just slowly find yourself getting deeper and deeper into it, where you are looking for something heavier and heavier, because that previous music doesn't bring you that same high that what you're listening to now does, you know what I mean? So you find yourself listening to something heavier and heavier, and then I found bands like Spaz and Charles Bronson, and it just hooked me from the beginning, because it's such a strong genre, and not only a strong genre musically, but a strong genre, aesthetically. Yeah. Of those covers for those EPs are just burned into my memory.
Yeah, dude.
So that's where it began for me.
Yeah. What about you, Jose?
It's a similar story. Listening to punk rock, late in middle school, early in high school, progressing from just like the Ramones, Misfits and stuff. I gradually got into it. It had a lot to play with, like, the people I was hanging out with, and I went to high school with Omar.
Yeah.
From Soul Search. We went to high school together.
Yeah.
So he was the one who showed me a lot of stuff. Like, he's the one who got me into Disrupt and a lot of that, like the anarcho and crust punk, that that was kind of like the gateway between, and it was the same, I would say almost identical to yours with the Charles Bronson discography. I was listening to that, and once I was introduced to that and Infest, those bands really caught my attention, and I thought it just sounded crazy, dude. And then just from there, once those floodgates were open, you just kind of roll downhill with, you listen to Spaz, and Spaz was the first time that I had even heard the name Powerviolence before, because they had that song, Mighty Morphin Powerviolence Rangers,
Yeah.
So it's like Powerviolence, And then you go and you hear, Man is the Bastard and HSMP, like that alone is it shouts out all the I don't know,
like the founders, I guess.
yeah, like the founding fathers, you could say. And just from there, and it just snowballs fucking out of control.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about what really drew me into that kind of stuff a lot more was prior to getting into punk. Like, I mean, I grew up listening to like hip hop and R&B, so like a lot of the influences the influence that I gained from listening to like underground hip hop and stuff, or finger quote real hip hop,
Yeah.
that you hear a lot of that stuff in like Spaz and some of those Powerviolence groups, so it really,
especially in Spaz.
yeah, and like, and they make references to other like hip hop culture stuff, like graffiti and such, so like that really drew me in as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, Spaz was definitely like the band that got me into it was definitely Charles Bronson and Infest, but Spaz was the one that really like hit it out of the park. That was the one that like I said, introduced Man is the Bastard, which is what introduced Capital's Casualties, and
just that
crossed out, and then like the rabbit hole just got deeper and deeper, and I found myself just like listening to so much shit that was around the same time, if not before, some of the bands that I was really listening to at the time. And that stuff was aggressive, man. It was like that shit is hard. Yeah. It's hard, man, and it's hardcore. That's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
But it's got a different attitude to it that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, like for me, because I don't have a punk background. Like I didn't grow up listening to punk. Like I never really actually got into punk. I grew up like listening to like new metal, like shit like that, and what actually got me into Powerviolence is actually a band that isn't even considered Powerviolence. It's Ceremony. Yeah, because I remember, and it was Evan and Omar. They had asked me for a ride to a showcase, and Evan was very adamant, like, dude, just stay, hang out. And I'm just like, nah, like it's cool, like I'll chill, like whatever. He's like, no, like I'll pay for your ticket, and I was like, I don't even know any of the bands playing, and the show was Ceremony, Saber-Tooth Zombie, Judas, and Red Handed.
Oh, that was at a
showcase.
Yeah, showcase,
yeah, in 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you got to see Judas?
Yeah.
Damn, that's tight.
Yeah, that band's tight. But I remember I wasn't interested, and Evan was just like, nah, dude, like trust me, it'll be fun. Just check it out. Because at that point in time, I was actually really into like beat down, like that type of hardcore. Yeah. And
I believe Outbreak played that show too.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
No, because I would have remembered. There was another band on there. I just
that
can't
band
remember.
from Maine. They're I feel like they're in that mix of that crowd. All I remember is like that band was really cool. I can't remember the name of them. I know they're from Maine. But I do remember Lee from Trash Talk was like on the stage, like doing somersault fucking kung fu kicks
At that show?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
And I was like, damn, that dude's crazy.
I just remember, like, I finally just gave in, and Evan paid for my ticket, went in. It was me, Evan, and Omar. And I just remember being really into Judas. And I was like, okay, yeah, this band's tight. Like, it's not the type of hardcore I usually listen to, but, like, I liked it. And then I remember after Saber-Tooth Zombie, I was just like, damn, this band's pretty tight. Because they're more on, like, the thrashy side, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it was more, like, I guess, more appealing to me. And then...
So do you think having gone to a show, it was the music as well as the culture immersed yourself into it?
Yeah.
Like,
it was,
even more?
Yeah, definitely. Because I just remember being so blown away by Ceremony. Because, like, they were so fast, so aggressive, and everybody was just going crazy for them. And I just remember just loving that feeling of being a part of all that. And just like, man, like, I want to listen to more stuff like this.
Because it's exciting.
Yeah.
And new.
And I just remember just constantly, or I just remember telling Omar and Evan both, like, thank you for forcing me to come to this show because
Right.
like I had so much fun and like I like fell in love with Ceremony, and that's when Omar and Evan started like showing me more bands, and the first like I guess official Powerviolence band that they showed me was Spaz. And even though Omar had tried to show me Spaz in high school, but I was a closed-minded
couldn't hear
idiot.
it.
Yeah, it just I couldn't appreciate it. So he showed me La Revancha,
Oh, I love that record.
and yeah, like from the first song, the WWF rematch, I fell in love.
Such
dude.
a strong beginning.
Like I fell in love, and like I just Googling, going on YouTube, just looking up other shit, and I fell in love with
That's
it.
where I
dude.
got my soul alias from that record, the song Swampfoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like so, like that's when I went down the rabbit hole and like found Infest, or like Apartment 213, and like just it's crazy, like the amount of bands I like fell in love with because of that. But yeah, like so after that, I just remember like that's all I would be listening to. It's just Powerviolence, because there was even a time where fucking was it you or Eddie call me.
Fidel, West Coast Powerviolence, Medina.
Yeah, because that's all I would be listening to.
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm the one that came up with that shit.
I'm not mad at that, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like I remember Birdie being shocked that I actually listened to other genres of music. Like,
Because weren't we like riding somewhere? We were going somewhere in your car, and then I was like trying to show you something, but I was being really like skeptical about it because I was like,
you weren't sure if I was gonna like it.
yeah, I was like, this isn't Powerviolence, like, but you're not gonna like it.
Dude.
But yeah, so that's how I ended up falling in love with it, and I just love like the whole camaraderie of it, just how it was just such a community, you know? Because I started looking into it and how it became about, because those original Powerviolence bands, they don't sound anything alike.
Right.
So it was really more just a community that just turned into this like fucking ginormous genre.
And the ability to be able to listen to it is something that you have to develop over time. So being able to find the nuanced differences between certain bands is something that only happens over time.
Yeah.
Like if you were to give, the layman listener any one of those records and tell me what the difference is, I think they would have a hard time doing it.
Oh yeah.
So then it almost makes it feel like this is a club that you're a part of. You understand a secret language that nobody else does.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But is there any like current bands that you guys are, and do you guys still follow it at all?
I'm not gonna say I try, but
Because I mean, I'm especially interested in you just because you played in a band that was considered a Powerviolence band.
I'm at a point in my life where, like, so when I say I don't try, it's not because like I'm a hater or I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's because I'm at a point in my life where I'm so disconnected from it that it's hard for me to find or know what's new, who's doing what bands are coming up. I don't know. In that aspect, I guess I'm old, because like I listen to the stuff that I either got, the stuff I grew up with, or the stuff that I was around when I was playing in the band, so it's just hard for me to kind of stay connected because I'm not as in the mix as I once was. So I mean I have a family and career and stuff now, so it's like I don't.
It's a little more difficult to like.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, if I tried, I probably could. If I tried harder, like I could probably find stuff that to pique my interest.
Yeah.
However, I'm a busy guy, dude, and it's just.
Oh no, I understand.
And it's hard for me to make time for sleep, So
Yes.
it's equally as hard for me to find what badass bands are doing the shit that I love right now, that I don't know of yet.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm still so hung up on like Mind Eraser and Iron Lung, dude. That to me, there's a part of me that's a little like, if it's not that good, It's gonna be hard for me to be that into it, you know, because those two bands like fucking just dude
they're beasts, dude.
They're crazy, man. I love those bands.
It's funny because like just recently, like I was trying to look up bands, you know, and I found a few like gems, and we were listening to Iron Lung in my car, and like every time I listen to him, I'm just blown away by Jensen's drumming, man. Like that guy is a fucking machine. And then like afterwards, I put on this new band that I wanted to show. Well, they're not a new band, but it's just a new band to me that I wanted to show Birdie. They're called Regional Justice Center.
Is that the one we saw?
I've heard the name.
We saw at that skate shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted. I put them on, and I like the band. Like, but as I was listening to it, all I can do is just think about like, man, this guy, the drummer, is not as like, I guess, brutal as Jensen. That's all I kept thinking about. And it's like, it kind of sucks because I like the band, you know. It's just, I guess it's just kind of like a hard act to follow because I listened to Iron Lung before I listened to them. Because to me, Iron Lung is like my favorite Powerviolence band. Like I never get tired of them. I constantly revisit their catalog, and I love all their shit.
Well, not to mention anything that guy touches is just great. You know, even,
Jensen?
like stuff like Dead Language and.
I recently got Birdie into Dead Language.
Yeah, what do you think, dude?
I thought it was great because we went to Rhino Records. Was it Rhino?
Yeah, I was at Rhino.
Yeah, and he just came up to me with this record, and I just had a bunch of writing on it. He was like, "Dude, you should buy this."
It was only $5.
Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like Dead Language. I have no idea what that is. He told me he was in it, and I was like, "Well, I'm interested." And then we bumped him on the way home, and I was like, "This sounds fucking brutal, dude."
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it has Jensen and fucking Andrew Beatty from No Comment.
Yeah.
Like, what about you, Ryan? Like, do you still keep up or?
You know, I found myself just kind of like falling out of it in a way, where, you know, my interest took me elsewhere pretty much. But there's still that time of, you know, going back to labels and seeing what they may be up to, or even if they're still around, and just checking out what it is they're putting out these days and giving it a listen. Where, you know, maybe back in the day, there was such a more active pursuit of finding more and more like good Powerviolence, and nowadays it's just so much more like, oh, maybe I'll check out this label, or oh, maybe let me check out some band camps and see what's up. But outside of that, pretty much non-existent.
I think the one label I'm still kind of following that seems pretty active, so it's probably To Live a Lie.
Oh yeah.
Like it seems like he's still putting out like stuff, you know. And then I mean Jensen has his Iron Lung records also.
Oh yeah, and his taste is impeccable. So
Yeah.
whatever he's putting out, you're gonna go ahead and check.
Oh
out.
yeah, I check out everything like he puts out, because I mean, like Jose said, like that everything that guy touches is fucking gold.
And then for me, it would just be Youth Attack Records, like checking out what Mark is putting out, because again, so good.
I was gonna mention that too, but like since that's, I mean, he doesn't really do anything that's like Powerviolence. You know, it's a lot more of that hardcore, like Veins.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
like
I think
the aerosols.
I think as far as Youth Attack is concerned, it's a little bit more of an eclectic label of what it chooses to put out, or what Mark chooses to put out, rather.
Yeah.
It's more like that aggressive skate punk type shit, like Talk is Poison.
Yeah, or then it just goes into black metal, or again like just hardcore punk and stuff like that.
I have a confession. I never really got into Charles Bronson.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
Which is a deep disservice to you.
Yeah.
Poser.
You know, I agree with Ryan. Like, I respect that. However, dude, that's fucked up.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I think I heard like a few songs and it just wasn't.
It's too snotty. Too.
No, I don't know what it was. It just wasn't catching my attention.
I feel like if there's aspects of Spaz that you enjoy, then there should be aspects of Charles Bronson that you could also enjoy. In a way.
Yeah.
As far as lyrically is concerned, for me at least, of that kind of criticizing the genre itself, being funny,
like
things like that.
It's like satirical.
Yeah, satirical Powerviolence in a way.
Are there a lot of bands like that? Like,
I mean, I would say the most notable would be those two groups, but I mean,
because I know even ACxDC started off like that, right?
there's kind of, I mean, ACDC was interesting because a lot of those songs, the way that they're written, you know, especially in the earlier stuff, and going in
Like the He Had It Coming.
He Had It Coming, you know, the Second Coming, those were littered with like songs that had something that they were talking about, but they were kind of behind a mask of something that was either popular or silly.
Yeah.
You know, like
which is like the best, to me, it's the best form of like writing lyrics.
So in a way, it's kind of making fun, but
as far as Powerviolence goes, of course.
I agree.
yeah, and that's what drew me into that band. You know,
How did that come about? Like you becoming involved in that band? Because I remember my introduction to ACDC was Evan when we had gotten transferred to Alvord Continuation, and I remember he was like bumping it super loud. I could hear it through his headphones. I was like, dude, what are you listening to? Because I remember just distinctly hearing Sergio's vocals, and like the high pitched like screams, you know.
yeah.
And that's when he showed them to me, and I was like I said, in high school I had a closed mind. I was like, oh, this is whack. I don't like it. And but I remember the one time I remember was that house show in Anaheim. Remember Hit 'Em or Hurts played with was it with ACxDC or was it with Leave It Out There?
Leave it out there.
It was Leave It Out There. Yeah, and then I remember Sergio doing We Kill Christians with you guys, right?
Yeah,
Is that like where it started?
that's exactly where it started.
That's tight.
Yeah, well, because I mean, you have to remember that ACDC was a band that started like 2002, 2003 ish. So it came off of like I'm not, for the lack of a better term, the coattails of like Spaz, because they played their last show in 2001. So
Yeah.
I myself personally looked at it as something like a passing of the torch, but it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of, you know, they were doing their thing that was in that similar vein, not too long after, and they were one of the only groups that, and from this area, that had actually released an actual vinyl. So they'd been a band for a while, and that's during that time when they were a band originally, you know, that's when bands like Arm and She's Dead, Bastard Ass, you know, they were all playing a lot together, and I had a band called No Mas at that time.
I remember
playing with those bands, and that's how I got to know those guys initially. So Sergio and I, and Jeff, and we had developed, you know, like a friendship for a while, and you know, Sergio had that and Asshole Assassination Squad, and then Liberate, and then I had done Hit 'Em or Hurts with Bobby and Sergio G. And it was just at that one show. One time, me and my brother were jamming, and we just kind of stumbled on how to play that song. We were fucking around, and we just we're like, let's learn how to play it, and we just did it, and what we thought was it, you know, and it sounded good enough. So I hit up Sergio and I said, hey, like at that show, like let's do something cool, you know. And this is like what year would you say that was?
I don't even know, dude.
Let's say like 2007 ish, you know. And I mean, the ACDC hadn't been a band for years at that point in time, because I remember they played like one like reunion show
At
Workman's Circle like in 2005.
Yeah.
With Asshole Parade.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that was it. And they hadn't been a band for a couple years before that. So they went a long stretch where they weren't playing. So I just thought it'd been cool, like, you know, playing that song and have Sergio do the vocals on it. And then, I mean, you were there, like you saw how the crowd had reacted to it. Like everybody was fucking into it, you know.
Yeah.
They really enjoyed it, and Sergio and I had a moment where like, whoa, like, we could totally.
People are still listening.
We people still are into this. Like we can do something with this. Like what if we bring it back? You know, like I can participate in this, and we can do it. You know, I don't know what the status is on that. You know, yeah, and then from there it just kind of became an ongoing conversation over time, and we were able to get it was my brother and I. My brother was playing drums, and then we got obviously Sergio was on board, and then we got Jeff and Pablo, and Jeff and Pablo were our original members, and that's just kind of like how we were doing it for a while,
Because I remember the first reunion show with like you and Bobby as part of the band. I believe was at Workman's Circle also.
Yeah,
'Cause it was, it was you guys and Staple Shut.
Staple Shut, Bastard Ass.
Yeah, and I just remember like that crowd was insane for you guys.
That was fun, dude.
And like Staple Shut was headlining, and I stayed inside for Staple Shut, and dude, there was like nobody inside. Like after you guys played.
Yeah, you know what? And you know what's funny? Because I know I think Staple Shut had a problem with that. Like they didn't like that. But from what I remember,
that band was pretty tight.
That band is tight.
That band is tight.
But
Yeah, so I'm kind of it's kind of shameful that no one would stick around for that.
Yeah.
That band's sick. And the same thing happened at that show that ACxDC played at Workman's Circle again with Asshole Parade. Asshole Parade had the same response, which I have the same response to that. That's kind of shameful because I mean, I find that to be odd. Not shameful. I just find it to be odd because I stayed there and I was surprised to.
Yeah, like I was shocked. I was like, holy
what,
shit, there's nobody in here.
That's crazy that no one would stick around here for that. That's crazy.
Because that room was packed wall to wall for you guys.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of people there.
Yeah, like people were falling on equipment and shit. Did you ever get a chance to see Jose and ACxDC?
No, I mean I saw at the Blood Orange Info Shop in Riverside prior to ACxDC getting back together. I saw Sergio's band at a Coke Bus show.
Oh, that was a good show, man.
That was an amazing show, and that was actually my first show too.
Oh yeah.
So that was the only iteration.
I believe Despise you played that too.
Yeah.
It was. That was the only iteration of ACxDC that I was able to see.
Oh, so he wasn't in the band.
He wasn't even in the band, but I mean, it was interesting because developing a friendship with Jose, and then finding out that we shared, the same room together was actually really interesting. But no, I never got the opportunity.
At that Blood Orange show.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the band.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
okay.
We just
I remember
that just wasn't a show that we played.
I remember
okay.
that night, me and you were actually hanging out, and then who was headlining? Despise You?
I believe it was.
It was Despise You. It was Despise You and Coke Bus were the two main events.
I remember me and you were hanging out, and then Despise You mics got destroyed, and they were like, well, I think they only played 2 songs, and they already destroyed their mics, and then I don't know if it was you, Jose, who came up to me and was like, I think you have one in your car, you go get it. Then I went to go get it, and I think that's how I remember that night, was the fact that it was so stacked.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, do you remember that fucking venue?
Oh,
Blood Orange.
Yeah.
yeah.
The little basement.
It's a great location.
Dude, that show was sweaty as fuck.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just sweat. Sweat is coming out of your sweat, dude.
Your sweat is sweating.
Yeah, your sweat is sweating, and the oxygen has been sucked out of the room entirely. You can't even breathe. It's like you're in a sauna.
Yeah.
Dude, it was a fucking sauna in there. I was wearing glasses and I couldn't see, so it was all foggy.
No, I mean,
I have a love-hate relationship with that kind of stuff.
Me too. Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to after I get out of a show like that, I'm just gonna throw away this T-shirt. There's no saving it. 'Cause the collar's been pulled on.
It has all your sweat. It has everyone else's sweat.
Exactly, dude.
I've actually only had to throw away a T-shirt after a show. Was an integrity show that I went to at Chain because I got home and didn't realize that the entire side of my shirt was full of blood, and it wasn't even my blood.
Damn.
So I was like, "Fuck."
That's
So yeah, I threw that shirt away instantly. Took a shower.
I mean, when you're in those shows and you're just being thrown around,
Yeah.
and then you fall down and some burly dude with a beard just comes and picks you up by your shirt, just completely ruins it and rips it. You're just like, I gotta retire this thing.
Well, you used to be in a, would you say, Powerviolence band?
I would say grind violence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that like? How did that come about? How did that band form? And what were they called?
Vomit Bastard.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was honestly because of ACxDC.
Yeah.
Because of that band's formation. Because we saw them, because like Jose mentioned earlier, they were like one of the first bands that actually pulled out like a piece of wax, you know, like a vinyl record. And we noticed that, and we were like, dude, wouldn't that be cool if that was like us?
Yeah.
You know, like, wouldn't that be tight? And before I joined that band, I was like in a bunch of other like punk bands, like just like street punk, like Casualties type stuff, like singing for those bands. I got over it like fast because it was just like I was singing about shit that I had no idea about. You know, it's like, you know, don't fucking pollute the earth, and politics is sucky.
It's just because it was typical for that type of music.
Yeah,
so.
and like,
but you didn't really
You
look
felt as
into
though
it.
that you had to adhere to that.
I got over it fast because I just realized like, dude, I'm like 17 years old, and all I want to do is like drink and like make out with girls.
Any hot Cheetos?
Any hot Cheetos.
Oh my god.
And like, I stopped being in punk bands for a while until like I was like 19, and then me and like some really close friends of ours, we were talking about those days, about how like, you know, when ACxDC was around, and how like when we used to be in punk bands, and we were all into Powerviolence like extremely.
Yeah.
And then we figured like, why don't we start one? And we're like, really? And we ended up making it, and it was a really rough start.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we couldn't find like a stable. Like, it's always hard for like bands like that don't really know people and don't really get noticed, because it's like no one really wants to be a part of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was me and my homie Omar. He was the drummer, and he was also the guitarist. He was playing drums, but he was writing the riffs, and like, and he was like, you know, I'll write the riffs, and all you gotta do is sing, like, don't trip. We didn't even have a bass player. And like, we were trying to figure everything out, and I think I'm not kidding you, dude, I think we practiced for like a full 2 years.
For real?
Yeah.
Before like actually
before
playing?
we even played at like a live show.
So you did it right.
And that first live show wasn't even like at a venue. It was like at a backyard down the street from where we were like practicing.
So you did it right.
I actually used to love going to like backyard shows.
Oh,
Man,
man.
really?
That-
I used to love it.
That's why I wasn't like that bummed when like we booked our first show like in a backyard. We were like, fuck yeah, dude, this means that people are gonna die. You know? But it was pretty cool, but like I said, it was really hard when you're a band full of nobodies, you know.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like I wouldn't want to do anything like that ever again unless it was with the same people I had relationships with that.
Yeah.
Like that with.
Those types of relationships?
Yeah, because we were like close friends. Like, we grew up together, and we understood each other, and we were patient with each other, and like, we didn't take it serious to the point where it was like in the way.
I respect that, because we used to have like at least I used to say to the guys like we're friends first, you know.
Yeah.
Like, we're friends, we're brothers.
We
you know.
would get in arguments, you know. Like, we would be like, dude, you're not playing fast enough. Like, dude, why aren't you hitting the fucking kick pedal like the way your Powerviolence band's supposed to? Like,
Right.
Yeah, like, why don't you fucking scream louder, pussy? You know, like, like, it would just get like that. But at the end of the night, like, it'd be like, let's try again tomorrow.
So I'm curious. You were talking about how earlier you were trying to do like kind of Casualties like lyrics. So what were your lyrics in your band? Your Powerviolence band.
Oh, and the Powerviolence band?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I fucking had fun with it, dude.
So
like-
come on, hit us with some.
Like, I mostly sang about the town we grew up in.
Okay.
Like, the people that I met. Like I wrote a song called Swamp Ass. And it was about, like, a relationship I made with, like, a bum at a grocery store that I used to go to a lot. And he smelled like fucking ass, dude.
Like swamp ass?
Yeah, like, he smelled bad. And I never got his name, so in my head I used to always just call him Swamp Ass.
Damn, that's fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that to his fucking face. Like,
So
I
you
would,
talk shit about him behind his
Yeah.
back?
like, in my head I'd be like, you stink, but you're tight.
All right.
But I would, like, the kind of conversations we would have, like, he would just talk to me about, like, how he used to be like me, how he used to hate, like, the establishment and shit like that, and now he just has fun with whatever he wants, which was like kind of
Punk rock, dude. That's punk rock as fuck.
Yeah, which was kind of like the transition I had from like going to like a punk band to like a power violence band.
Right. And I mean, what a perfect medium Powerviolence is to get out that teenage angst that you have.
Yeah, because I mean, you can only get so angry with punk, you know? Cause,
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, to me, when you're doing like punk, like the kind I was doing, where it was like, you know, trying to put out a message, it was like you couldn't really get ignorant.
Right.
You know what I mean? You couldn't really get violent.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I got into the power violence side, like I got ignorant, you know, and I got pretty violent, you know.
Yeah, and when you're pushing songs that fast and that powerful through your body at a show, I mean, that angst, that anger that you have dies down quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what caused like the demise of the band? Like, why'd you guys stop?
It was really disappointing because we had like recorded this demo that Frank from Corona. Do you remember that? Yeah, he recorded that demo like in Justin from Manny's the Bastard.
Yeah.
Because my band and that band, Manny's the Bastard, we were like.
I know. I saw you guys play together all the time.
Yeah, we were like brothers, dude. Like we were always hanging out and like talking and like texting each other. Dude, we used to love each other a lot. Like when we would get shows, we'd be like, dude, you guys have to get on the show. Whenever they get on shows, they'd be like, dude, you have to get on the show. Like they would always help us out. So it'd always be like that relationship. But
shout out Justin. We were on tour one time and went to Portland, and he, I don't know if he still works there, but he worked at like this vegan, like donut, like deli type place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hooked us up with some delicious like seitan sandwiches. Dude, you know.
Dude,
I always liked that guy.
I don't know what he's up to.
Shout out to Justin from Manny's Bastard.
Yeah, I don't know what he's up to. Like he's pretty disconnected from like humanity, basically.
Well, I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't even think he's on there anymore.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I interact with him every now and then.
Shit. Yeah, but I mean, like if you're listening, Justin, like, I miss you and I love you, dude.
Yeah, same here, man.
If you're listening, Justin, I was pulling for the Blazers. That was they put up a hell of a fight.
Yeah,
but back to what I was saying, the demise of that band was like I said, we put out this demo and it got a pretty good crowd reaction, and like I remember sorry, I'm gonna digress a little here.
That's fine.
But the best show that band ever played, and I'm so proud of it, was the night that we got the closest thing to a Spaz reunion.
Yes, the Black Castle.
The Black Castle show.
Despise you guys, and them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What Chris Dodge got on the mic and did Sword of the Lord with you guys.
Yeah.
And I almost shit myself.
Literally. I would say I'm very proud to have played that show with like. I'm very proud to have opened, you know? Like, I remember when I got the text from Sergio, because he was the one that set that up. He was like, dude, I want you to open. And I want you to bring whatever you recorded, because I want you guys to, like... He really supported us. Sergio from ACxDC.
No, we all had a lot of respect for you guys.
Yeah, like dude, like, I remember, like, when we posted it, like, when I posted our last Facebook post to announce our breakup, I thanked you guys, especially. Like, I told you guys, like, yo, man, like, thanks for believing in us and, like, our sound. Like, hooking us up with shows even though we haven't recorded anything yet. Like, we were playing shows that people fucking, like, were jealous of, dude. Like, that Black Castle show.
That Black Castle show was insane.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys also play the house show with Hordes and Love Below?
Yeah,
where the house got fucked up?
I'm very proud of that show, too.
that was a great show.
That was the night of ignorance, dude.
I think that was probably the wildest house show I have ever been to.
Yeah, I don't think...
Hordes is another band, dude. Like...
Oh, man.
Dude, I consider that band, like, a pillar of Powerviolence, dude.
Oh, dude, that band... Man. That was a good band.
Yeah.
Shout out to those guys, man, because, like, they got on that King of the Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
That label. And that's that same label that put out that Locust Man as the Bastard split, or Bastard Noise split, I guess.
No, it was Man as the Bastard. Locust Man, the first Locust release? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, from what I understand, it's like technically bastardized. I don't know.
Well, because I have that record and it says Locust on one side, on the other side it says Man is a Bastard.
Right.
The one with like the bananas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on that same label, and I always thought that was really cool. That says something special about that band because I mean, how often did you hear about that label? I mean, at least unless they were doing things low key that I didn't know about. I mean, but still, I always thought that was pretty cool. That band was incredible, man.
That band was scary.
That band was fucking terrifying, dude. I remember seeing a flyer with hordes on it and be like, I want to go so bad, but I'm scared.
I used to jam with those guys in the very beginning of that group, but you know, just I was so busy with ACDC that I was unable to commit to them the way that.
Because you started that band, right?
Kind of.
You and Ronnie?
No, it was.
You and Mark.
It was like I would consider it more so Mark and Chaz, and then I was talking to those guys, and you know we jammed quite a bit, you know, and then.
I remember hitting you up a couple times to hang out, and you're like, "Oh, dude, like I'm busy. Like I'm gonna go to San Bernardino to jam."
Yeah, you know, and you know, I those guys were really patient, man, and I didn't even give them like a proper like, hey, I can't do it. I just got way too caught up, and I just kind of like fell out, and they just continued, and they didn't give me shit about it. So I mean, like shout out to them for being so gracious about that, but. I guess that was the best thing to happen to that group, you know, because I mean,
Jacob on vocals is
like
damn.
That dude.
The group they had after all that, dude, and ended up being a winning combination, dude. Yeah. Like and that was some good shit, man.
My first time seeing that band was at the Boulevard in East LA, and I remember seeing Jacob walking around the bar. Yeah. I didn't know he was a singer, but I noticed him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that guy looks like trouble.
He had a certain presence about him.
Yeah, he was walking around with like his arms crossed, like looking like he had a chip on his shoulder and shit. And I was like, I would hate to bump into that guy right now. Like he could probably fuck me up. And he was like the short dude, you know, like muscly dude. Like
one of the coolest shows I remember playing was with it was us, Hordes, Get Destroyed from Arizona. At that pizza joint in San Bernardino.
I remember that show. That show was fucking epic.
That was a good show. That was a badass show, man.
I remember seeing Iron Lung there.
Really?
Yeah, it was Iron Lung and Hordes.
They played there.
But Iron Lung only played for like maybe...
They only played a couple songs.
They only played a couple songs because somebody accidentally unplugged John's equipment. And he got pissed and was just like, I'm done. And then I just remember Jensen like... looking at the crowd, he's like, I guess we're done. And I was
that dude's so funny. I remember going to the Boulevard to go see them. It was like them. It was Iron Lung, Extortion, and Lack of Interest. And I remember I was just kind of hanging out next to the drum set, and Jensen was saying he had asked me. He was like, hey, can you hand me the stuff that's inside the bass drum? So I reached down in there, and the first thing I grabbed was like a pillow, right? So I pulled it out and I handed it to him. He's like, "It's not that time yet," and he's like, "There's something else in there," and then it was like some gym shorts or something. And I always thought that was kind of funny. Like the dude has like an interesting sense of humor.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh no, it's not nap time yet. it's not time to go to bed. It's me beating the living shit out of these drums time."
Yeah, because he beats the shit out of his drums.
Yeah, those drums are turned up to fucking
12.
11, 12, dude, yeah.
Have you ever gotten a chance to see Iron Lung?
No, I never got the chance to see Iron Lung.
What's like the biggest show, I guess, that you've seen?
Oh, the biggest
like
show?
the biggest like Powerviolence name?
Yeah.
I would probably have to say Punch.
Yeah?
Like for me at least. Because
I never got to see Punch.
Because I saw Punch in Pomona. And that was probably the biggest crowd of people who all gravitated towards that band.
Yeah.
So Punch to me was probably the biggest band.
Punch is tight.
That's a dope band, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I heard DIY play and I heard that riff, dude, I got in there so quickly. I was like, they're playing my song.
Oh, dude, I remember there used to be a Long Beach warehouse There's two of them, but I've never been to the first one. They had a second one that I've been to a few times, and I remember seeing a show, and it was Lack of Interest, and it was Iron Lung and Hatred Surge.
Fuck.
But the dudes from Iron Lung were participating in the Hatred Surge set because it's just one dude.
Yeah.
But when he performed live,
What was his name? Alex Hughes, I think.
Alex Hughes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like on record he does it all himself, but at live he recruited other people, and it was a lot of the times that it was Iron Lung, and I was fortunate enough to see it.
Damn,
like
that sounds amazing.
It was crazy, and it was the first time that I'd seen either one of those bands, and I mean I was familiar with those bands at the time, and I was just like, whoa, like this is back to back crazy, you know, because. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was also a record release show for Lack of Interest for that. That second record they had after Trapped Inside. It was either Never Back Down, I think it is.
With the face.
Yeah,
the yellow face.
Yeah, it was with the second vocalist.
Yeah, I forgot the name of that.
I think it was Never Back Down.
I think so too.
Yeah, this is the one with Take Another Step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Damn.
going back to
Yeah, sorry. We went off on this fucking side road. My bad.
We all digress.
Yeah.
Going back to the demise.
Anyways.
To the demise
Back to Birdie.
The demise of that band.
Yeah, sorry.
What band?
Exactly.
That's fucked up, dude.
Hey, get up.
Please.
But we just ended up breaking up because I guess the drummer kind of lost interest. You know.
That sucks.
Yeah, he wouldn't want to practice anymore, and we had all these shows lined up, and we had wrote all these new songs that we were really excited about recording, and then out of nowhere it was like, man, I'm done, dude. And me and the guitarist thought about like replacing him, but I was too connected to those guys. Like, they were my brothers.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that kind of stuff, dude.
Yeah, and like I couldn't replace the guy without feeling cool about it. Cause I mean, he was cool about it. Like, he would tell us like, dude, go ahead, do your thing. But
it just like internally, like,
yeah,
it just
because I mean, we
bothered you?
started this because it was like we were so close, and we were so close to this genre of music.
Yeah.
So just doing that sucked. I think the guitarist was like, well, let's just start a new band. And we tried that, and it was hard to find people. People are pretty flaky. And I mean,
So is the chemistry between you guys that kept the band together, and with
yeah, I think
one of you gone,
I think because
it
of the
just all falls
chemistry between the three of us, it was like we were writing songs like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And we thought it was good, and we knew each other, and we knew each other enough to make the right choices for the band to become noticed, you know, which I hope worked, because I honestly I don't look back at it, so I'm not sure if we left a mark on it or not, you know. But I mean, in my head, it's like, I'm glad it happened, and I would do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I would do it again with people who I had a relationship like that with, you know, like who I'm close to and patient with, and they're patient with me. So, I mean, yeah, but I think that was in like 2012 or 13 that we broke up, and I announced the breakup, and then I had never really tried getting back into a Powerviolence band after that. Actually, no, I did. Me and the drummer for Liberate.
Oh, I remember you telling me something about that.
Yeah, we were trying to start something with a friend of his playing guitar. We actually wrote like a good set list of songs, but then out of nowhere that kind of fell apart too. I still talk to Jaime. Like, we still talk about still trying to start like a new band. But he's like, Jose, you know, it's taking care of business, like family, and
Life happens,
yeah,
man.
putting a roof over your kids' heads and making sure they have food on their plate. You know?
Yeah.
But me, I'm more of like taking care of me right now.
Right.
Looking out for number one.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck, homies. Yeah, but I mean, that was the end of that, and like, I mean, it's fun being in a Powerviolence band, dude. Especially like doing the kind of shows that you do with a Powerviolence band. I mean, Jose knows. I mean, getting ignorant and violent on stage with your friends and people who will potentially become close friends with you in the future. Like,
I mean, that's what I loved most about Powerviolence was the community, like the shows.
yeah.
Like it was just, I just loved that atmosphere. Just
Yeah.
it was fun, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
Because I honestly, like, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys, I probably wouldn't know who any of you guys were if it wasn't for Powerviolence.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Well, I mean, even the first time that we really connected was at one of my shows.
Yeah.
And I if I'm not mistaken, I remember, like one of our last couple songs or whatever, you had accidentally stepped on my pedal.
Yeah.
and you had stomped it, so it cut the signal to the distortion. And then you had approached me after the set, and you said, you're like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I stepped on your pedal, blah blah." And I was like, "Fuck that!" and you're like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
And I was like,
got scared. Dude.
Yeah, and then I was like, "No, I'm just kidding. It's cool. I'm not. I don't even care."
Like when he said that, like I legit looked behind me to see if my friends were there to back me up because I was about to get my ass kicked by like ACxDC.
Yeah, I remember you flinching, and I was like, "Oh, I felt bad." It was completely a joke, because I honestly did not give a shit.
Yeah, because I didn't know you at the time. So like, my first thought was like, if he's mad, then like, he's probably really mad. So I mean, yeah, that was my first experience with Jose. So
yeah,
Damn.
friends ever since.
Was I there?
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I was at a lot of shows.
It was at the
guys.
Blood Orange.
Oh yeah, I was probably there then.
I don't know.
If it was Riverside and like Jose's band's playing, I was probably there.
You have very little excuse not to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ever since then, I mean, this guy's been like my brother. So
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, what aspect of Powerviolence do you miss the most now that you've kind of been removed from it a little bit?
I would say,
The connections that I've made with people.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people that I mean, we're all still friends, and when we see each other few and far in between, you know, it's always so pleasant. You know, like the guys from Fissure and K-State, Hoi Pernoi,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, there's so many to list. I've been fortunate enough to make so many good connections and friendships with people. But you know, spending time around those guys all the time was something that I really appreciated. And thinking back on it, I mean, I really appreciated all those times, because I mean, those are good times. Those are good people, man.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that I do miss the most, it is truly that, you know. And from a band member aspect, you know, man, just jamming with the guys, you know, just hanging out with them, and I mean, we used to do like barbecue cookouts at Jeff's dad's house, and it was so much fun. You know, we had such a great time writing music, and then you know, the people that I've met on tour that were like fans of the group and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that was cool. I always appreciated the conversations that I had with people who are fans of the band, because, you know, they would say things like, "Oh yeah, I love you guys, you guys are like my favorite band," and stuff. You know, they would say things like that, and to me, it's like, oh, thank you, you know, I appreciate that, but it's like, me too. I mean, I love the band too. It's my favorite band too, you know, because I mean, ACDC was my favorite band, you know, so I got to play my favorite band, you know. And so I liked those types of connections. Like, you know, I mean, there's so much to miss. You know. I mean, I honestly wouldn't trade it for what I have now. You know, because I mean, I have a family and stuff. You know, and I love my wife and my kids. But you know, there's definitely a part of me that just has this itch where I want to play stuff like that, and I want to play shows with those guys again.
Yeah.
You know, and talk to those people at those shows again, you know, because it was fun, you know, it was good times, man.
Yeah, that's a big part of it for me. It was the communal aspect.
Yeah.
You know, Powerviolence was the banner which we were under, but it was the connections that I gained from it, of being able to go to a show and then just be fully accepted by everybody. Even like promoting conversation with other people. I mean, that's what I really enjoyed, is getting to learn about other things, because though Powerviolence was the banner, people were into a lot of different things outside of Powerviolence. Like, that wasn't just it. It was so much deeper than that.
Yeah, because I mean, when you would go to like Powerviolence shows or like anywhere, like in a backyard or in a venue, like, I mean, you wouldn't see nothing. You wouldn't see a wave of like vests and studs and bullet belts. It'd be like homies, like hip hop heads and like metal heads and like just everybody, dude. Like fucking normies from like college and universities and shit, you know, like it was such a fucking melting pot of people that it was like, why not?
Yeah, and I wouldn't be the person that I am today if it weren't for all those people that I met and had the opportunity to talk to, of them, me having the opportunity to show them something they may not have heard of, and then them showing me something I haven't heard of.
Yeah. I remember the one thing I miss is the Hit 'Em Where It Hurts shows. The Hit 'Em Where It Hurts shows were always so much fun, man.
Oh man, those were...
Especially like with Sergio, I mean...
Yeah.
That shit was so much fun, man.
Oh man.
Like, one of my favorite... There's actually a few, like, shows that I love, like, I constantly, like, reminisce on. But, like, one of them is, this show, I think it was in Anaheim, it might have been. I don't remember. But you guys were supposed to play, like, in somebody's front yard. But, like, the cops showed up. So, they're like, oh, no, you guys can't do it. Like, and, like, the owner of the house was like, oh, what if we do it in the garage? So, everybody, like, packed into the garage. I don't know if you remember. And, like, I forgot, there was this band
I think that was in Anaheim.
Might have been.
I think it was in Anaheim, and it was, like, with Venganza.
I honestly don't remember the other bands that were on the bill.
No, I think I know what you're talking about. Like, the front yard had, like, a fence around it, and the garage was separated from the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's, like, a bunch of people taking shit out of the garage so there would be room to play.
Yeah. I have pictures from that show, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember, because I remember I wanted to record it, so I had taken my camera, but the batteries fucking died.
Oh, dude. Like, there's actually a video on YouTube of a brief snippet of, like...
it's probably mine.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, like it's like an intro that we played, and then like the beginning part of a song, like our first song, and then it cuts out. But you can't see a damn thing.
No, you can only see the light in the center of the garage. And
yeah, and then like
there's like rafters, so you can see people like hanging from the rafters and shit.
That show was crazy.
I forgot what band it was, but somebody covered "Carry On."
Oh yeah, they did.
Somebody attempted a Carry On cover.
No, they I thought it was tight.
Yeah, no, it was good.
It was good.
I remember liking it. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Okay. You know what sucks? One time, like... One time... I went to... I think it was the last backyard show I ever went to, and it was because of you, Fidel.
Oh, I know what show you're talking about.
Yeah, and like... I remember, like... That was the last backyard show, and that's what ruined backyard shows to me. This was probably like, what, 4 years ago, maybe?
Probably.
Yeah.
No, it was longer.
Longer than that.
It was longer than
probably
that.
like 5 or 6 years ago.
Probably, yeah, something like that. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But I remember...
Because that's probably the last backyard show I went to.
we went, and it was so bad, dude. It was so bad. The show was supposed to start like at 7 or 8, and like the first band didn't play till like 10. But what really fucked me up that night was that there was like this fucking band playing, and they sounded like shit. and I remember being like, I fucking hate this band.
Dude,
I don't
hating.
Yeah, like I was being a hater. I was being such a grumpy hater, dude.
Dude,
so yourself?
Tell me something I don't know.
I fucking hate you guys.
Tell me something I don't know.
But I remember like they attempted a Locust cover. Yeah.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. And I remember like they were butchering the fuck out of it, and it was like
what song do you know?
Moth in Deerhead. That.
That's not even a hard song to fuck up.
No, but the fact that the key instrument in that song was like the keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
It was like you're playing with like a guitar, bass, and like a drummer, and like dude, they were butchering it so bad it was pissing me off. It was insulting. And like I remember when they were done, I was like I went up to Eddie because Eddie went. I went up to Eddie and I was like, dude, I want to go home so bad.
Didn't we leave after that band?
Yeah, we did. Like I remember just leaving and like being so relieved.
Damn.
You had enough.
Yeah.
Left a bad taste in your
Yeah.
mouth.
No,
sucks.
dude, like it fucked my mouth up. Like it didn't leave a bad taste. Like it fucking like
Singed his taste
it
buds.
took a shit in my mouth.
Like you don't enjoy food anymore.
No, like I have to eat through a straw now. No, but it was
Fucked up, dude.
it was bad, dude. And after that,
Do you remember their name?
No, I don't, and I'm glad.
Well, whoever you are, A for effort.
D for effort. What the fuck?
Oh, fuck that. I appreciate it.
But yeah, like I miss those Hit 'Em Where It Hurts shows, dude. Those were so much fun.
Those are some crazy shows, man. You know, dude, it pained me to try and change that name, but like we had developed a really bad reputation.
I remember that was your reason. You said because like people associated with you just being super violent.
Yeah, because I would do some
You did some ignorant shit, dude.
I would do some crazy shit. Dude.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't. But I mean, and my brother too, and Sergio too. But I mean, I would just get way too carried away, dude. I'm not proud of it. You know, it was. In retrospect, it was fun. But like, also when I think about it, like, I mean, it wasn't like the smartest choices. You know, I mean,
We're young.
I was
man.
hurting people, man. It was crazy. Like it was too much, you know. And I was advocating for other people in the crowd to you know, like punch someone in the fucking face, and you know, and they would do it, and you know, we were like the soundtrack to people being ignorant, and it wasn't something I condone now, but I mean, it was. I would be lying if I said it wasn't fun at the time.
Do you remember that house show in Corona?
Oh,
Where you guys played with Dorian's band at the time? I think they were called Covert Action, I believe. We played in like a small room that had sliding glass doors. It was the first night we met PH Frank, and he was dressed exactly like Omar, and we were teasing Omar like, "Hey, Omar, like this guy looks exactly like you."
Was it that show that it was like in a living room area, and like the whole house was empty because I think they were like trying to sell it or something?
I don't know.
And like so.
No, it was in the living room area. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like it
was really small.
But it was, the whole house is empty, and Covert Action did play, and
We ended up putting a hole
there's
in the wall.
like there's holes in the wall, and
no, there wasn't before.
No, there wasn't before, but we were doing that, and like I remember throwing some kid across the room and ramming his head into the opposite wall, and then
It was
You know what? That was that show that I remember Sergio couldn't make it, so we had Martin.
Oh, that's right.
Filling on bass.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember like we were. I mean, I felt like we sounded really good, and there was somebody who kept like circle pitting around while we were playing, and like, you know, I had punched that dude a couple times because he was being like just too evasive or invasive on us while we were playing. And I remember at one point I had seen that he had ran into Martin pretty hard, and like he straight up fucking nailed that dude in the face with his bass guitar, man.
Yeah, I remember that.
And you know, he ended that, you know, like that was the end of that. And I remember thinking like, fuck yeah, dude, like, you know, you're a good fit for what we're doing here, you know.
I just remember like the group of people that we were there with were like the main people inside the room while you guys were playing and while Dorian's band was playing. And then once because you guys played first and then Dorian's band played after you guys, and after Dorian's band was done, that living room was fucked up.
Yeah,
and we just left.
And then the cops
we
came.
didn't even stay for the rest of the
cops came
bands.
at the right point in time because like the show had ended. Like the Covert Action was the last band, and the cops came.
No, I think there was more bands playing after.
Are you sure? I remember the cops coming, and then it was kind of everybody was kind of like, meh. I mean,
No, I think we were like that because
Sure.
we were just leaving already.
Were we?
But I believe there was more bands playing still.
Really? That's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
That's fucked up, dude. I remember seeing Covert Action play. But to be fair, like, I don't remember the other bands that were playing.
I don't remember.
Like, I just don't know. I didn't know who they were. I couldn't tell you the names now.
But yeah, I remember that night.
I could look up the flyer. I have it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I could.
But I just remember that night specifically just because of how, like, we were dumb, man. Like, we fucked that living room up. And that was also the night, like, we're teasing Omar because him and Frank were dressed exactly alike. And that's the first night I met Frank, so we're just like, Omar, like, this guy like, fucking looks exactly like you. He wants to fight you. But yeah, like...
And that was before Omar was in Soul Church.
Yeah.
Because that was before Omar and Dorian were in Soul Church.
Yeah. I believe they were about to, like, they were, like, on the cusp of starting God Damage.
That band's sick.
Do you remember God Damage?
That band was sick, dude.
That shit was tight. Have you ever been to any, like, crazy house shows, Ryan?
Only like just a few backyard shows that would just get shut down after like an hour. Like, was not well organized. All of a sudden they're just done. Like, cops come, break it up, everybody has to leave. But I was wondering, of the shows that you guys have been to, what's a show that you find yourself thinking, this needs to get dialed back? Like, this is getting out of control.
Oh,
Like, you yourself thought that.
That house show at Justin's house with Hordes,
Yeah.
Love Below. Didn't you guys play that also?
Yeah, we did.
With Mayonnaise the Bastard, right?
Yeah.
You guys did a
we
split set, I believe.
Yeah, we did. I remember that we covered each other's songs.
Oh, yeah. I remember Frank from Mayonnaise slicing his hand. So that was part 1 of our 2-part episode, our discussion on Powerviolence. We decided to split it because we delved into a lot of shit.
This shit was going on.
Yes,
Oh, wow.
and it was it's pretty long, so we just decided to split it into 2 parts. But yeah, we will be releasing both of them at the same time, but we just felt it necessary to split them into 2 separate episodes.
Yeah, so look forward to the other one, which will be dropping exactly at the end of this one. Just in case you want to continue or take a break and listen to the second part later on. We'll be releasing both of them together.
Yeah, no, once again, thank you guys for listening, keeping up with us,
And here is the end of part 1. Look forward to part 2.